10 Premier League talking points including Man United revolution and Liverpool hero. We have reached the busy festive period and football fans can now feast on non-stop Premier League action. Manchester United began life under new interim boss Ralph Rangnick with a narrow victory over Crystal Palace. There was another twist in the title race as Chelsea were defeated by West Ham on Saturday lunchtime. Liverpool and Manchester City predictably capitalised with vital away wins. Meanwhile, Aston Villa continued their brilliant start under Steven Gerrard and Eddie Howe secured his first win in charge of Newcastle. Here, Mirror Football rounds up 10 key talking points from another dramatic weekend of English top-flight action. Manchester United 1-0 Crystal Palace. Michael Carrick filled the holding role with similar poise to his playing days, but a new era is now underway at Old Trafford. Control was the buzzword in Ralph Rangnick's impressive first press conference early on Friday morning, and United have seldom had more this season. While chances weren't flowing against a less than ambitious Crystal Palace, the narrow scoreline didn't reflect the dominance of the hosts. What did you make of Rangnick's Man United debut? Comment down below with your thoughts. Rangnick already acknowledged that this performance wasn't going to mirror what he ultimately envisages with his complex ideas after limited hours on the Carrington training ground. But there were more than enough signs that the German innovator is already imprinting his ideas. There was a first home clean sheet in 235 days, a new 4-2-2-2 formation sparked a more coordinated press, and United played most of their football in Palace's half. An encouraging start. Fred has been earmarked as a key benefactor of Rangnick's new counter-pressing system, and what a start he made to the manager's new regime. The Brazilian is maligned in some quarters by the United fanbase, but perhaps it isn't a coincidence his best performances have come after Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was belatedly jettisoned. And you would have got long odds on a match-winning strike from a man who had previously scored 3 Premier League goals. The midfielder delightfully caressed the ball beyond Vicente Guaita with his weaker right foot just as the Old Trafford crowd were growing impatient. There will be winners and losers after Rangnick's appointment, but Fred is already impressing. Wolves 0-1 Liverpool, go out and be Divock was Jurgen Klopp's instruction as Liverpool hunted a late winner and Origi understood the assignment. Origi's Liverpool record on paper is somewhat innocuous. 39 goals in 166 appearances is hardly deserving of statue recognition at Anfield. But the often unwanted Belgian's knack for producing season-defining moments is quite remarkable. Klopp effused that books will be written about legend Origi, and his last gasp winner at Molineux forms the narrative of a latest thrilling chapter. Liverpool fans don't need to be reminded of the striker's Champions League and Merseyside derby exploits, but this was another reminder that Origi must be appreciated. Watford 1-3 Manchester City. A Bernardo Silva sale this summer would have not only been a tragedy for Manchester City, but the whole Premier League. Silva is simply a delight to watch and reached new levels with a double against Watford after a special goal at Villa Park in midweek. Pep Guardiola convinced the Portuguese star to stay, and his decision could prove pivotal in a title race that will be decided by fine margins. City don't need a striker when their attacking threats can't stop scoring, and despite the 3-1 scoreline, this was as convincing a display as we will see all season. Aston Villa 2-1 Leicester City. Steven Gerrard could barely hoped for a better start to life in Aston Villa, where some predicted he would face a baptism of fire. The apprentice overcame the master as Gerrard's relentless Villa side had the number of Brendan Rodgers, whose Foxes continue to suffer. It was a superb performance underpinned by midfield intensity and attacking ambition. Villa could have scored more without VAR intervention and Gerrard will be no pushover on his return to Anfield in the opposite dugout this week. West Ham 3-2 Chelsea. West Ham have already defeated Chelsea's title contenders Manchester City and Liverpool at the London Stadium, and their latest scalp is hardly reason for Thomas Tuchel to panic. But Chelsea dropped points for the second time in a week and perfection is demanded in a title race with 3 of Europe's most complete sides. What is even more concerning for Tuchel is the growing list of Blues stars who could spend Christmas on the treatment table. Marcos Alonso and Kai Havertz went off injured, the return dates of Mateo Kovacic and N'Golo Kante are unknown, and Tuchel admitted Jorginho is playing through the pain barrier. Edouard Mendy has been wonderful for Chelsea and will be hoping the lowest point of his Blues career will be rendered an aberration after 2 atypical errors. 7 games await Tuchel's men in 21 days, and this is where the German squad will be truly tested. A run of 3 league games without victory made some question whether West Ham were about to slip down the league, but they aren't going anywhere. David Moyes' men had their fair share of luck against the European champions but capitalized emphatically. Arthur Masuaku's fluke goal secured the victory that was as much a triumph of Moyes' in-game management. Moyes introduced Masuaku at halftime to nullify the threat of the electrifying Reece James and showed ambition when replacing the injured Kurt Zouma with Pablo Fornals. The Hammers have finally made the London Stadium a fortress, and Saturday was the latest in a catalogue of memorable victories. Newcastle 1-0 Burnley. The importance of Newcastle's victory was magnified by what is to come. Leicester, Liverpool and the two Manchester clubs await the Magpies, and this narrow victory over Burnley was paramount to their survival hopes. It would have been hyperbolic to suggest a negative result would have doomed the Toon, particularly with the January window to come and riches aplenty. But Newcastle fans had forgotten what a win had felt like, and Callum Wilson's first-half goal against an abject Burnley lifted the mood on Tyneside. Newcastle supporters only ask for hope, and Eddie Howe is providing that. Tottenham 3-0 Norwich. The most surprising stat for supporters who missed Spurs' victory was that Norwich enjoyed more possession. But that looked an obvious tactic for Antonio Conte, who did not feel threatened about what Dean Smith's men could do on the ball. The scoreline may have flattered the hosts, but the Italian won't care after a confidence-boosting display. And Lucas Moura's stunning goal is undoubtedly a goal of the month contender. Everton may not have played this weekend, but the crisis-ridden Toffees still dominate the headlines. Rafa Benitez is preparing his side to face Arsenal on Monday night, but the main story is about the departure of director of football Marcel Brands. Many Toffees supporters think a managerial change is needed, but recruitment has been poor long before the Spaniard's unpopular arrival, and Brands has left the club. Despite Brands' exit, Everton are still said to have faith in Benitez despite a dire run of form.